estate agent photography, real estate, whichever you prefer to call it. What's in the bag for a general shoot? Welcome to property photography. I specialise in architectural and estate agent photography here in the UK. So what do I take when I go out on a general shoot for estate agents? Well, let's take a look. So here are the two cases that I take on a shoot. Obviously here is the tripod case. I use a Manfrotto tripod, and here's the Pelly case containing all the equipment that I take, or most of the equipment that I take. So here's just a quick look inside. iPad on the top, camera on the right hand side. So let's take these out and have a look at each individual piece. Right, I put most of the stuff that I take here on my desk, and to start with, let's have a look at the camera. So I use Nikon. This is the Z7 II. It's fitted with the 14 to 24mm 2.8. Also carry a battery pack on there, so there's two batteries in there. And talking about batteries, I always carry spares. There are 4 spare batteries plus 2 in the camera, so in total I take 6 batteries. If I'm out all day, I'm going to need those. Also fitted here is an Arca Swiss L bracket. Don't generally tend to use that too much when I'm doing estate agents, because obviously the camera has to be kept in the horizontal format. You can't turn it round. So, but I've got the Arca Swiss head on the tripod, so that just fits onto there. And that's quite smooth. It's always used in manual. I do have a user 3 setup, so I can quickly switch from 64 ISO, which is what I generally use when I'm attached to the tripod. And the only thing I change then is the shutter speed. Aperture is kept at f11. And as I say, most of the internal shots are done at 64 ISO. So we're talking sometimes quite long exposures. Outside, the reason I've got U3 set up is I've just quickly turn that round and instantly it changes to 400 ISO, which is pretty good for most exteriors in bad weather. So that's the camera. What else is there? To control the camera, I use a Cam Ranger 2. So this attaches to the top of the camera, is then hardwired into the camera, sets up a Wi-Fi so that I can then use my iPad to control things like the shutter speed. These are a brilliant idea. However, made in America, it's not very well made. This is the second one that I've got through, and this one's held together with elastic bands. The antennae always seem to break off. Same with the previous one. Rocket blower, got to be careful of dust on the lens, also dust on the sensor. Don't like to do too much editing if I can get away with it, so a rocket blower. Also a little toolkit, which is quite handy sometimes if the base plate on there starts to come loose, fitted with a screwdriver, various other attachments which come in quite useful. That's a small rig, little tool there. Now, while I'm actually inside a property, you may have come across this: hard floors, wooden tables, hard surfaces. You get a lot of reflection if there's a window nearby and the light's coming through. So to cut that down, I use the polarizing filter. Now with the 14 to 24mm lens, it comes with 2 lens hoods, the standard one and also this one, so that you can attach filters. And this one has permanently attached my polarizing filter. Again, this is a Nikon filter, high quality, not cheap, but does the job. Unfortunately, even though that's quite expensive filter, and you get 2 lens hoods with that lens, they don't provide anything to put the spare lens hood in. So I've had to go and ask for help from Wex Photography over in Birmingham. They're really good. They sourced this case out for me. I believe it was a coking filter case. Can't quite remember because I've cut the name off it. And I've cut all the inserts out, and that fits in there quite well. So that was nice. Thank you, Wex. However, Nikon, come on. This is expensive stuff. Let's have some protection for it. Again, Pele. When I'm transporting cards, spare cards go in there. If I do happen to drop that in a puddle of water, or if I'm in a dusty place, that's no problem. The laser, which I mentioned with the spare batteries, I have to do floor plans for some clients. So I use a Bosch laser for drawing up the floor plans. Then the other thing that I use all the time, and you may ask why, is a Sekonic light meter. Here we go. This is the L85D Speedmaster. Absolutely fantastic. I have the camera profiled to the light meter to get the best out of it. So I've got the best range between darks and highlights. And it just means I can move around a room. This is fixed to the tripod. Then I can move around the room, just taking various light meterings, finding out where my brights are, where my darks are, and then I can just take an average light reading. If the camera is out of range and I need to take more than one exposure, at the bottom it will tell me. But maybe that's for another video, because that's we could do quite a long video just based on the Sekonic light meter. Occasionally you might get stuck. I've had downstairs cloakrooms, toilets, where they're actually sunk, so it's almost like half basement, but they're so small you can't get a tripod in there. And even if you could, even with the 14 to 24mm lens, you're not going to get a very good picture because you're so close to everything. So the way I get around that is to use this lens. This is the Nikkor, it's an F mount, it's the Nikkor PC 19mm, so it's a tilt shift lens, and just by shifting the front element down I can actually get lower even though the camera is attached to the tripod. The only thing is I do have to use an FTZ because obviously the Z7 II is a Z mount and this is an F mount. But the pictures are phenomenal from it, so that's good. Normally I use that for commercial work, but now and again it gets me out of trouble with residentials as well. Then there's the 360. I don't have to use this very often, but when I do, I have to provide 360 walkthroughs. I use a Ryko, and this is the Theta, and it's a pretty good camera. Nothing fancy about it, just gets the job done, and then I can provide 360 walkthroughs for those clients that want it. So basically that's the equipment that I take. A few cloths in there, lens cloths, cloths for wiping the camera down when I'm out in wet weather. It is weather sealed, but don't like it sitting in the case all damp. That's what I take when I'm shooting in the UK. Thank you for watching. I hope this was useful. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see any more videos, and maybe a comment below to see what sort of thing that you're looking for, and then I can look at what to do next for you. Thanks very much. Bye.